Okay, so this is a short video that's going to continue the series of building sites and doing a little bit of pre-visualization, simulation, and site work using a combination of FormIt, Revit, and Twinmotion. So again, this is our site that we developed inside of FormIt. We're going to backpedal just a bit in this one and go through the process of File, Save Sketch As, Locally, and I'm just calling this Arc222. That's the class that I'm doing all this stuff in. Arc222 Site. FormIt is going to create .axm file. That's the standard file format, so we'll just replace that one. And then we are going to start a brand new scene in Revit to import that in. So I'm going to be going New, Browse, and I want all of you to be using the default template and saying OK to that. So we are going to be inserting something new. So again, reference the ribbon. If we're importing, inserting, there's a button for that. We are importing computer-aided design, so we're importing CAD, and we are importing a FormIt file. So find that on your list, .axm. So let's go to the desktop where I saved that, Arc222 site, and open. So that is already placed. All that we had to do is import it. If we look at that, you will see right now that it is in hidden line mode. If I change that to texture, I will see the texture map applied to that. So I actually have the satellite photograph there. So what I need to do next is I actually want to turn this into a topo solid. I want to be able to see the topography lines on there. We want to be able to start manipulating this. So I want to do a couple of things. I'm going to select and unpin. We don't need it unpinned for this next step, but we're going to need it unpinned here later. And we want to go to Massing and Site. So from Massing and Site, we're going to click this little down arrow. Anytime you see a down arrow here in Revit, that means I've got multiple options. It's not just the single button, but I have additional things that I can do. Okay, so let's click this down arrow, and we are going to go Create from Import, which is exactly what we're doing, and we are creating from an imported CAD file. So I need to select that. So I went Create from CAD. I selected my surface, and we want to use all three of these. Say OK to that, and essentially what that's going to do is at every intersection on the geometry on our imported file, it is going to create a topography point, and then that is going to generate a topo solid with my topo lines. So let's just go ahead and select off of that. And so right now we have essentially that made a duplicate object. Okay, so we have the original file that we pulled in, which is right here, and the topo solid that Revit just created. So we really do need to get rid of the original that we imported in. So let's do that. So again, inside of Revit likes to select things at edges, not in the middle like some other 3D programs. Revit likes edges. So I'm going to sort of hover over this vertical edge here. I'm going to hit the Tab button. The Tab button is going to send you through every selection option for that location. So if I hover over, tab once, that is my imported AXM file. I can left click and select, hit the delete button, and now I have this topo solid. If I change this from textured back to hidden line, excuse me, if I change that back to hidden line, you can see the topography now, which is pretty dense, but I mean, this is a very hilly site that I'm working with, so that's kind of to be expected. I also can see there's a little bit of geometry cleanup that I want to do. We'll get into that later as we are working with these files.